We're coming to you live from the Investor Tribe studio. Today's episode is brought to you by Kentucky Private Lending, KentuckyPL.com. Reach out to them today to start your investment journey.
I'm Milton Ali.
I'm Coyiatheowner.
And I'm Hampton Scurlock. We're here to help you skip the guesswork and steer you towards financial freedom.
Today is special. Every day is special.
Definitely.
Right? Every day is special. Every day that we wake up is a special.
Gift,
is a gift, right? It's called the present. And so the cool presents that we get, okay, are when we get to talk about other locations, right? When we're able to talk about, we have members as part of the tribe in California.
There you go.
I just checked the site. We got members that are, shout out to the members that are in Texas. And so we even have a Texas part of the market center of the marketplace community.
And don't forget Down Under, our friends in Australia.
So, yes, so people view, so it's so cool. So Bespoke Marketing, you know, shout out to them. They do all of our metrics and they do producing and all that cool stuff, all the techie stuff. And so in our reporting, we literally had 300 views over the last year in Australia.
Oh, wow.
And so shout out to whoever is on Australia checking us out. You know what I mean? And so we also have a lot of views in New York. We got views in Indiana. In our Facebook group, it's over 1,500 people in our Facebook group, which is growing rapidly every day. And it's so cool to be able to have people from all over Israel, people in South America. Like I'm just
everywhere, right?
Everywhere. So the tribe is global. Think about that. You know, we never thought when we sat in, Jordan Pone's office that we'll just be this global dominating entity that has taken over the real estate investing world. We're nowhere near that. But it's so cool to be able to, have the expansion and reach out to a lot of people.
Definitely.
Today we get to talk about crossing borders, going all the way across our area of Louisville, over into Indiana. Which, if you look at the map, it's right across the river. But for some Kentuckians, you can walk. There's a walking bridge.
Yeah, that's true.
I walk to it. I
See, there you go. So that's super cool. That's super cool.
And only half the bridges charge tolls. But some people focus on, there's a toll to go across it, but the walking bridge doesn't.
Get the sticker.
Get the sticker, get the pass, or you go around the other side and like me and go for free, or plan your trips accordingly. But
take the yellow bridge.
The yellow bridge, yep.
I mean,
it's scary.
It is.
Well, yeah, it's scary, totally. And so you can catch us every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. on all of the social media channels. So we go live on YouTube, Instagram, X. We also go live on Facebook, and you can catch us every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. And you can visit our site at invtribe.com. Today, we have our special guest, Lisa Warfield, and she is, shout out, we're going to have the horn. We don't have the sound effects, but we're going to add them. Right. And so she is a broker in 3 states. She is a broker in Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio.
Wow.
And where she currently serves as the primary broker for Ohio and Indiana at Keller Williams Collective.
Oh, wow.
Full disclosure, I am part of Keller Williams Collective, and just get at me. So what we're gonna do is
spin the wheel.
Let's go.
No one told me about a wheel.
We're full of surprises around here.
Yeah,
we would love for you to give it a good spin.
Lisa, please spin the wheel.
Oh.
No whammies, big money.
Now, I think it's a whammy because it says Kentucky Private Lending.
No, that's not a whammy. That is actually
That's not a whammy.
That's not a whammy. This is amazing. So shout out Kentucky Private Lending. They are a good partner. They're a founding sponsor of our podcast. Absolutely amazing people over
Krista,
there.
they're wonderful.
Eric, yes.
The website's KentuckyPL.com, and they do free pre-approvals. I'm starting to wonder if they gave us this wheel and it's weighted because they come up a
really
lot.
did. It came up on the other podcast, and we're just like, so you know what? That's what money does.
We love them. Maybe we'll give them another. Let's see what else comes up here. We'll give it a shot.
Let's see.
Does it come up again?
Guess question.
Oh, that's a good one.
Guess question. Okay, that's super cool. So, that's super cool. So, do we have a guest question, Drew?
Sure. Yep. It looks like there's one right here. So.
Oh, she looked like he has to type it from the other site. You know. Okay. All right. So. All right. And so we do have a question from somebody in the tribe. And so, favorite self-help book or money book, and why? Let's name it.
Let's let our guests. Lisa.
Lisa, do you have an answer to that? Your favorite self-help book or money book?
Favorite self-help book or money book is a classic, and it's Who Moved My Cheese?
Wow. Okay,
I
awesome.
haven't read that one. When and why?
Your money and your mindset primarily will control everything that you do, and how you actually tackle things that change. Who Moved My Cheese is about change. It's about us, how we're moving through all the changes that have been hitting us. And it's a quick read, and I often just go back to it because sometimes it's hard to make adjustments.
Definitely. So it's about adapting.
Yes.
That's the key takeaway.
Okay. All right. And so, Lisa, you're here today, and I asked you to be on the podcast, so we want to thank you for joining us on the Investor Tribe podcast. And so what we wanted to do was talk about and give us a snapshot and an understanding of the Southern Indiana market as it relates to the Louisville market. So for the uninitiated, Louisville is literally right across the river from Southern Indiana, and that's what we call it. It's technically not Southern Indiana map-wise. That would be more Evansville. So I know you're thinking like it's not Southern Indiana. Yes, well, it's what they have collectively named themselves over the years is Southern Indiana, and it's right across. It's part of the Louisville metropolitan area. And so I wanted you to kind of give us a snapshot, give us an understanding of what's going on in that market. First, let's kind of talk about how many homes are currently on the market on any given day in that area.
Ooh, any given day, we're in the hundreds, not the thousands.
Okay.
So we have actually been cruising to pre-2020 levels. We're back. We had a big significant drop, and if we're looking at the geography, you mentioned Evansville. Evansville is actually where it stops on our MLS. And if I want to go north, Madison, if you've heard of Madison Regatta and all those other things.
So across from the Milton, Kentucky Bridge, shout out to Milton, you know, that's what's up. And so that's a place I have to, I've been to Milton, Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
So it's across the bridge there. So what you consider as far as the range when you're selling, if an agent was selling in Southern Indiana, they would be as north as Madison, Indiana, and as south or westward as
Evansville.
As the right before Evansville.
Like Tell City?
Yes, we actually have an active contract right now in Tell City.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so that's like an hour out.
Yeah. I actually sold a wonderful mobile home in Marengo.
Oh wow. Okay, and so what about is westward is Sellersburg? Is that what?
Oh, Sellersburg
is that would be the
is
a little north. Okay, gotcha.
But Sellersburg is within 30 minutes of Louisville city limits, and there are a lot of people that travel from Sellersburg into Louisville. That's actually where the market is mixing up and kind of getting its increase is the spillover. The lack of inventory that we have in Louisville, even though we have, on average 2,700 to 2,800 homes on the market at any given time. Over here, we've got more bang for your buck in Indiana. To be very, very clear, when I say that, our highest price new construction sale is right around $450,000.
Wow, that's so from an affordability standpoint, there's a lot more access and inventory over there,
and it's cheaper. So Indiana has the homestead exemption, and right now they're actually lobbying to keep that. There's something that's really going on in the legislative.
So when you say homestead exemption, I'm think of me as a fifth grader right now. what exactly is that? Like, I know it's taxes. I know it relates to taxes.
Right. So everybody pays taxes on real property, right?
Right.
When you own property, no matter where you are, and right now there's a big stink going on in Florida as well, where they're trying to basically charge an entry fee when you buy the property versus paying taxes. So there are all these little things going on across the country. Indiana is one of them, and they're thinking of taking away this exemption. And what's gonna happen is, if they do that, the areas and the communities that are benefiting from that were being developed right now. I don't know if any of you have been down Veterans Parkway and just taken, you can just turn away from the mall and you'll see that there are miles of land just being cleared. New construction, new development, all those things are coming. And the taxes and that homestead exemption are going to be really key for those people who are moving in.
And it only for owner occupants, right? They don't
These
give
are
they don't give the benefits for investors, and that's one of the drawbacks I heard or I got to experience when you invest in Indiana. The tax bills for most of the cities there, and there's 4, 5, 6 cities right across the river from Indiana.
Really small courts.
Small courts, but the tax rate for investors is twice as much as homeowners. So it's 1% for homeowners, 2% for investors. And you ask the county about that, like, we're not penalizing investors, we're just giving homeowners a discount. It's not a penalty.
Because they're saying it's actually 2%, and with homestead they're getting a discount.
Right. And so some of the investors I've talked to, we joke about it. Oh yeah, gosh, one thing I don't like about Indiana is I get tax bills twice a year, so I get reminded twice a year I'm paying twice as much as my neighbor on the tax bills. But and for years, a lot of investors wouldn't cross the river or go to Indiana. But now I think we're seeing less trepidation.
They're also a year behind.
Yes.
So
with the tax stuff.
And that's fun to calculate when you have to do a loan.
Right. And so.
So I have a quick question. And so with that, because I noticed you mentioned owner occupied. So with me, like, I do house hacking. So would that homestead exemption still basically be for if I wanted to get a quadplex but live in one of the units? Like,
Sure, that's still an owner occupied.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still owner occupant. And any time you want to do that, that's actually, when I was doing a little research to just make sure I was prepared for this podcast, I was looking to see what the investor community was doing, and I kind of went into some large language models and said, can you pull anything trend-wise? And it seems that we have more multifamilies available over across the bridge, which is a huge push.
For investors, definitely.
So just like what you're saying with quadplexes,
Okay.
yeah, if you're going to live in it.
Yeah, you can get it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Koya, the house hacking queen, always looking for the multifamilies.
Always looking, so she's like, so she was excited to have you on because we're like, Indiana is definitely a area that we would like to educate the tribe a lot more about. And so when you're thinking of, investing, there is opportunities everywhere. And so when you're thinking of how does the market compare when I want to flip a property in Indiana, do you find a lot of deals? Because you're also an agent, so that's you're also an agent. You're also yes. so you do have a lot of opportunities that you come across, and do you come across a lot of great opportunities in Southern Indiana?
I have come across a few. My buy box is a little bit different. So my buy box, I don't do anything before 1960, and usually the opportunities are a little bit older than I'm used to. I'd like to conserve my time. And so when you have an old house, you've got old problems.
Okay, and that's super cool because now today's tool that we have with our partnership with Retometer, or as some people know, Renometer,
right?
Our partnership. So as a tribe, we have a partnership with Retometer where you can plug in the city, you can plug in the yield that you would like to see, and you can go to invtribe.com and you can go through your member portal and your dashboard, and you can find your access to Retometer, and you get free searches. And so go to imvtribe.com and you can look that up. And so where I want you to kind of give us a little bit of the background. So you started in real estate back when, before like in the 1900s or early 2000s. Like give us a little bit of your background. How did you get started in the business and your early formative years in real estate?
How best to describe this? I ran screaming from public education into sales headlong in 2004. I answered an ad. It was for a sales job, and it was this little company called Equity Consultants. I at that point was like, I'll try anything because I need to get out of the house. I have 3 children. But that experience was absolutely the thing that made me know that I was crazy enough to stay in this business even when it went completely meltdown just 2 years later. Again, I got in 2004. By the 2006, we had a website that was the mortgage implodometer, and I was in the mortgage brokerage, not a bank. I was a mortgage broker in 11 states. I ran a team of 15 loan officers. It was Big Mama's house. There were lots of jokes. However, when it got to the point where I was turning down more people than I was actually able to help, I had to do a small pivot. I exited the industry around 2008, and I got what I call just over broke, a job, and sat in that position at a call center working customer service for a very pink company. I'll not mention any names. So I did that for so long, and then I'm talking to people at work, and they're talking to me about things going on at their house, and I'm, and I'm like, this is dumb. I spent 2.5 years spinning my wheels. I went back to a school called Hondros. Shout out to them and the $3,000 I gave them to get my license back. I did both because I had this idea and this concept at that time in 2010 that I could do both of these. I could do both of these effectively. I looked at 2 companies. One was a local company, very large presence. I won't mention the name. We call them the Green Machine. They cover Ohio and Pennsylvania primarily. I believe they're in 8 states now. And there was this little company that popped up down the road from them. And who is this KW? It was really strange. And when I went to do my interview at Howard Hanna, I just got and paid this money for my lending license and for this whole concept of you're gonna just do all the things. And Howard Hanna looked at me and said, well, we'll have to get back to you to see if you can keep that license. Okay, so let me go down the street, and I interviewed with Lori, and Lori literally looked at me and I said, well, I don't even know your company. Like, why would I even consider being here? Obviously, I am here because we're having this conversation. Lori looked back at me and she said, when someone thinks about real estate, who should they think about? And that's why I have stayed at Keller Williams since 2010. My business is about me and not a brand, not a balloon, not a jacket, not a whatever. Shots fired. Yes, I did those.
All is welcome to the tribe, but the views and opinions of our guests don't necessarily reflect the tribe, Woo, mercy. All right.
Don't hold back now.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, but that's actually where I got the idea, and I struggled with that for 4 years, and I picked that I could only serve one master and run hard, fast, and I stopped doing loans 4 years later. And went full on into real estate. Fast forward a little bit more, and about 2018, I attended my first Keller Williams event. It's called Family Reunion. It's conference
Down in Texas.
That's actually a mega agent camp.
Mega agent,
That's yes. The first one that I attended was in California, and it was like a light bulb went off. That year they reintroduced mortgages to us, and I got the bug again, and I was like, I wonder if I could do that again. Fast forward a little bit more, 2022. I was using the Keller Mortgage app. I was using the leverage that they provided us, and I was the what we call the crash test dummy of all the things that they do. And it's so weird that that actually happened to me, because I got to speak to them, and I said, well, what if I did this both? What if I did this again? And they were like, hold my beer. 2 years later, this concept comes up, and it's called Agent Plus. So they said, we're going to let you do the same job that you've been doing. Because I want to tell you that I'm not a normal agent. I'm still the agent that is, hey, how long have you been on your job? Hey, how long have you been doing what you're doing? This is how I do my business. For the most part, I've never stopped qualifying people from a lending perspective. So when you're looking for an agent that actually can bulletproof a transaction, I start at my buyer's consult. Hey, what are we doing? Like, how, it's not if I can get it, it's when. And you don't know when you can get that person serviced until you know all the financial things.
So what I like to do is bring you to fast forward to today. And over the last year and a half, me and you have had many conversations about real estate investing. So talk to us about a deal that you did last year, and you was walking up and down the office hallway, and you literally would talk about this deal to me every chance and opportunity you got. And so so kind of bring us into your foray into real estate investing.
So I actually got a really good deal from being in the office. Shout out to going to work every day.
Yes.
From being in the office, the deal literally fell in my lap. I was not prepared for it in any way, shape, form, or fashion, other than the fact I had a couple dollars in the bank. I had the trades, I had the skill set, I had the knowledge, because I've been working for investors and making people rich for the last 15 years. And this was my second solo, no help, all the things, where I took it from soup to nuts and sold it 6 months. I did this flip. If you'd like to look it up, it was beautiful. And I made some choices then, and this is what he's talking about when he says I wouldn't stop talking to him about it. Because I kept saying, look, these things need to be elevated. We need to figure out, how do we give people the best product? And that's what I did with that project, is I took some risks that most investors are not taking, and I still made the profit that I needed to make on that deal.
And was this in Indiana or Louisville?
No, this one was in Louisville.
Okay.
Yeah, this one was in Louisville, and that was PRP area.
Okay.
Let's kind of go. Into what would you find as, what would you describe as a deal that you have done that have gone sideways, and how did you fix it? Because you are a person that can pre-underwrite and really help people. And at the same time, let's kind of bring this in. We're talking about Indiana, okay? So we definitely want you to kind of look at some things that are, a deal that you worked on that gone sideways, but that you brought it back.
So I worked with a couple who were in an active bankruptcy. Most people don't know that you can actually buy a home in an active bankruptcy.
Wow.
Yeah,
your first home is your investment. So that's the reason why we talk so much about buying, because your first home is your investment.
Yeah,
so if anybody's in the comments like, yo, you're this is an investment show, I'm looking for it. Yes, your first home can be your investment. So please continue.
So I wound up getting these people, and we actually got them a loan, got everything done. And something happened where one of them was previously married, and a divorce, I had to remove them from the deal. So that deal not only went sideways, they were under contract for new construction. Right. I wasn't doing the loan, but I had gotten them approved, not with the builder's lender. It was rough because it was also our sister KW office that was the builder, and it died. There was nothing I could do about that, because the debt that was owed was the responsibility of one of those clients, and that just totally killed the deal. And we were 2 weeks away from closing. The house was finished.
So
goodness.
Wow, that's crazy. Not that scenario, but something similar kind of happened to me. So for, say, an investor, from an investor perspective, ways to kind of like prevent, from being 2 weeks from closing, probably just really making sure all your affairs is in order. Because once it gets to closing a house, I think a lot of people don't realize everything comes out the closet. So that's it with an investment property. That's with a if you just buying a house for yourself, it doesn't matter. It's nothing that's going to be hidden away. That old collection from 5 years ago, that's coming out on the table as well. So
I literally had a lien that I didn't know I had come out before the closing that I did last year on that property that Milton had mentioned before. Yeah, it was $1,000. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not just it's the behavior of all of us to want to do something and not know how to do it. And that's why you have to find an expert, and that's why we have to make sure. I'm so sorry. That just fell. I don't know if I'm moving too much.
No, it's fine.
But so when I'm looking at the investment side of things and how it is different over in Indiana, it's not that different. We have a lot of the same property, the mixture of the properties age-wise. I actually had a client that purchased two years ago. They purchased a brand new construction, put 30% down, and said, we want this as a rental. It was in Charlestown. Okay. He did just call to tell me that we don't want to be landlords anymore.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's sometimes it works that way.
He did the math, and he had to evict a tenant. He had to pay $4,000 to go to court.
Yeah.
Because I referred him to a property manager. I told him he could self-manage through some of the apps, and I think you mentioned one.
Turbo tenant.
Retimeter. And,
yeah.
So
he could have, because he only had the one property.
He could have joined the tribe, and we could have been a community to help him.
I'll definitely refer him, but I do think he's out of the landlord game.
Oh, wow.
They literally put a shed in front of the house and ran a business out of it.
Wow.
Sure, the city or the local county didn't like that.
Oh, like a food business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was selling food. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. So
those things can happen with rental properties. Yeah. I mean, we've had issues before with somebody starting a business or starting to work on their cars or neighbors' cars in the backyard or the alley, or something that you're not supposed to do, and then the city fines you, even if it's the tenants doing it, because they said everything comes back to the owner, even if it's against what's in our lease, even if we can show we've told them they can't do it, even if we've erected a fence and they moved to the neighbor's property, but they're still wanting to fine us because it's our tenant doing it on a neighbor's property. Like that, where does it end if they move to another building? So we had to evict that tenant. So it's not all roses and rainbows with rental properties, but usually the cash flow, the appreciation, the depreciation, can make it worth your while. But when you have that just one, and no money coming in and a lot of money going out, that can really hurt.
It did. He did the math and he said, "You just lost money," and I said, "Yeah, I get it." So I'm going to be listing that property soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what would you say that is your biggest mistake?
There's so many. How long do you have? I would have to say bad partnerships. And not getting things in writing earlier on in my career. The lesson was learned, and I've never not entered into an agreement, a joint venture, or something in writing with a full, clear spelling out of what you're supposed to do, what I'm supposed to do, and how we break up. Because that's what I learned. Everybody is good until the breakup comes.
Until the breakup, yep. Yeah, and as an investor, it's the same way with contractors, with just even joint partnerships and buying a home together, anything. So I could relate to that for sure.
There's a lot of lessons we've all learned. Sometimes they're hard lessons. You have a hard, a harder, expensive lesson you want to share with the group other than the partnership?
So, I have probably lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in missed opportunities. So you don't get what you don't take the chance on, and that was what this last 2 years was about for me, was recreating what I took a chance on. I will no longer go to an appointment with a potential listing client and not offer to buy that property. And I'll figure it out.
So you've got a lot of tools in your toolbox, because you could buy the house, you could list the house, you could help them get financed to buy something else. You can do quite a bit there.
So do you think you being an investor, did that come from you becoming a realtor or a loan officer, or were you an investor first?
The investor thing kind of hit in college. Because any time that you're in the college areas where my college was, there was always investment property because we rented to get off campus. So like we almost bought the house that we were renting at the time. Now think back, I'm very well preserved, but the house was $20,000.
Oh wow!
And at the time, that was a lot of money.
Oh wow!
And what do you think it's worth now?
It's still a lot of money. It's still money.
Well, in
perspective,
30 plus years ago, 19, 20-year-old.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah, I was 22, and the lucky thing for me, I didn't have $20,000 houses, but we had 3% interest rates because it was during COVID.
I'm very familiar with that one.
So I look back still to this day like, man, I wish I would have got this and that, got more. Yep.
Bought more.
Yep, bought more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that can kind of bring us to our
hot takes on the investor tribe. Hot takes on the investor tribe.
Today, Hot Takes on the Investor Tribe is brought to you by Kebabinit. So Kebabinit makes the best
kebabs of all kinds.
Ever.
We got sausage kebabs, we have steak kebabs.
If there was an award show,
kebabs
you literally need to be interrupted and be like, this is the best. And so shout out to the team at Kebabinit. Derek is an amazing chef, and they do a phenomenal job. We got close up. Today we have steak, We have,
sausage.
I believe we have sausage. They bring chicken. And it's absolutely amazing. And Koya, what is the hot take of the day?
Sure. So today's hot take is there is a market crash coming. Everybody thinks it. Yeah, all my friends think a market crash or hopes a market crash comes so they could get a house. That's what they tell me. They think a market crash is coming because the prices are way too expensive because of inflation. Now, I done kind of countered it and explained that, hey, like, we got better regulations going on than 2008. That's why I kind of try to explain. But they like, no, regulations don't matter. It's the prices. That's why the market crash is going to happen because and you know, we are, like, at least I'm seeing it on my end. I am seeing houses sit on the market a little bit longer than maybe before. At least with certain houses, because I look at multifamilies because, you know, I do house hacking. But so I could kind of see their perspective, like it's houses waiting on the market longer, people's not buying as much. What do you all think?
I started investing when we had a big market crash, or I got serious about investing when we had a big market crash in 07. So I don't do sound effects, you know, like that, you know, guy on TV, but beep, 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 beep. I was trying to back the truck up and get anything and everything I could get in 07. Everybody was fearful. You know, like Warren Buffett says, everybody's be fearful, you know, be greedy. Everybody's greedy, be fearful. So I was buying all that I could. I had friends, I had family tell me I'm crazy. The market went down 50%. What if it goes down another 50%? I was like, well, I'm going to rent it out. And if it burns down, blows up, you know, falls apart, I still got the land. Yeah. You know, I'll be okay. And you're buying it, you know, start off with a 2 and then add another one here and there. They were easy to find back then. They were on the MLS. You walk down the street and find a deal, and people trying to get out of properties and get rid of. The banks were wanting to get them off their books and get rid of them.
So do you see similarities to today? Do you think that?
No,
absolutely
not.
Yeah, because right now, you know, it's unlikely.
Yes, go for it.
It's unlikely that there's going to be a housing market crash in 2026, guys, and so. You know, it's kind of interesting. J.P. Morgan Global Research, they project that housing prices is going to stall in as far as 0% growth in 2026. Realtor.com even suggests that prices may dip in 22 of 100 cities, in the top 100 cities, particularly in the South and the West. And so what we're thinking is that there's going to be more stabilization and a correction in certain areas. And a reset rather than an absolute collapse. And so while there's truth that some properties are overvalued, markets will see some price dips, all right? And so, but national prices are expected to remain flat or show some minimal growth, and we're talking 0 to 3%. And so we know that the average trend line over the last 25 years has been roughly 3.5 to 4% every year. And so even at flat growth, it doesn't matter for a lot of the population because they're not looking to sell. What it does matter is that prices are increasing just slower. And so they're not seeing a collapse. So we cannot dollar cost average the market. It's about not timing the market, it's time in the market. So it's so important to not look for the crash, but look for the opportunity. Right. And so with that said, you know, we're not going to necessarily see a market crash come. So your friends, Koya, need to understand that they need to look for an opportunity. Where can they buy? Because
when's the best time to buy?
Yes, was yesterday. But the second best time is today. Right. So that's what's and that's the thing, because I kick myself. I'm like, I sold a multifamily last year. And it was, I sold the multifamily, and this was a multifamily. Every unit had 3 bedrooms, nice size bedrooms, and 1.5 baths.
He didn't sell it to me.
And 2 of them were completely remodeled and ready to go, and 2 of them needed some work. It had a 12-car parking lot.
Oh wow!
And it had a complete it had a complete basement with a laundry area. Now you had to go outside to access it, but it was all there and ready to go. And literally, I was able to sell that for the mid 3s. Now, mind you, I would have wanted to live there and speaking of like house hacking and living in a multifamily, that would have been a really cool dynamic. Right?
You don't normally get that.
Milton
with all that parking.
That deal, and I just was like, I'm not ready to buy right now, and I'm mad.
Oh, I did show you that deal. Yeah. I showed you that deal before it went on the market.
Before it went on the market. And I appreciate you thinking about me, but I'm mad that I didn't pull through right then and there. But
because we had multiple offers. Mm-hmm. We had multiple offers. We had 5 offers on that price, and we sold it for a lot well over the asking price of that, because a lot of people saw the deal. It cash flow day one. Yeah. Which is just absolutely amazing. And so I don't think you need to be thinking about, timing the market. You need time in the market. And quite frankly, you probably have to start with something that's not absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. Start with something that is workable and doable and in an area you may not like.
It's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning, because if you live there for 3 or 4 or 5 years, your equity will take you into something you do like. Yeah,
but people don't know what equity means. You're just explaining those numbers, and when we're talking to people that don't know what we're talking about, that's the money. The 3.5 to 4%, that's the equity. And if I sit there for 5 years and I do the math on that, on $200,000, that's where I need to talk about that money. Mm-hmm. I've just earned that. And I've also paid down, because I'm paying myself
because the principal pay down.
Yes, I'm paying myself back in small. So I have these 2 buckets of money growing while I am taking care of the property over my head. I'm making money. Like that's the investor mentality that we need to adopt.
And then if you have 3 more houses, then you've got 6 more buckets out there.
Yes.
It's because your tenants are paying the debt down. You may be taking tax breaks on the depreciation.
Yes.
Over time, it's generally going to appreciate. But as Milton said, there's cycles, there's corrections. But over the long haul, time is your friend.
Traditionally, there used to be the 10-year
market cycle.
Cycle. That's what we used to talk about. This is the 10-year market cycle. I mean, this is my 2nd decade in, and it didn't happen this last time.
And so I do think it kind of opens up this question about do we see another 2008 coming? Because every 18 years it seems like there is this cycle of adjustments that happen to the market or shocks to the system that happen in the market. And so can you speak to that?
I would love to give purely my opinion on what I think is going to happen.
Definitely.
Purely my opinion, I think that in our current state, something silly is going to happen again. I'm not going to say that the rates are going to go down significantly, but I feel like somebody thinks that that is what's going to fix it, and I don't believe that they're wrong.
I hope they bring the interest rates down. That would be
well. Let me just say this: it's going to be a short-term gain, and the long-term problem that's going to cause,
right,
is when it's going to stop. I feel like we're going to see this. We're going to see a lower rate, but what we really need to see is wages go up.
That's what it is. I agree with you on that.
We really just need to see wages go up. But think about the fight that we had to get to $15 an hour, and we're still not.
At $15 an hour.
Still not there.
I agree with that.
We're still not there. Families just simply cannot afford a home. We have underemployment. That's our issue, is the underemployment of our people. People are working. They're just not making the wage that affords them the ability to get into a home.
And I agree with that, because me personally, like, I know I worked in the recruiting sector and HR sector pretty much before I got into real estate. And the thing that I noticed is that there's a lot of people that are being laid off that may have 10, 12 years of experience working roles that are a year, 2 years, and they were making 100. Now they're getting into roles that are making like between 50 to 70 or things like that. And I do think
people are taking steps back in their careers. In order just to remain employed.
Yeah, no one thinks they're overpaid.
No.
And so I read an article that they said that there's 3 things that would make Americans feel like housing, or that would solve the housing crisis. Mm-hmm. Okay. And one is houses go down 30%. Mm-hmm. Interest rates go down to 4.5% or 4%. Okay. Or housing, or did I mention housing?
You said
housing. I mentioned housing. There is interest rates, or incomes rise 35%.
Yep.
And the likelihood of any of those things happening is just unlikely. And no one's going to take a 30% haircut on their property value because they can just rent it out. Right, they can just delist their property.
Right, the cost of contractors, materials, things like that. That's why I think it's unlikely that housing costs will go down that significant.
Oh yes, of course. And so
I can't. And I mean, kind of at the top of what we were saying, talking about new construction and my client just being priced out. It's not going to work. It's kind of like real estate: location, location, location. Those 3 things, one of those levers being pulled is going to create a temporary gain. All of them together creates the permanent foundation. We have to have all 3 of those things that you just mentioned in order for this to not be a problem, in order for people to be able to afford no matter what side of the bridge that you're on. Mm-hmm. Like, again, most of my clients that I would get, and even referred, they want to go look in Indiana now because they looked on the .coms and said, but you told me I can't, that I got to go buy this crack house over here for my budget, but over here I can actually get a livable home.
When in reality, you don't have to live in the crack house. You would just live in a house that is trap adjacent. That's what you have to do. You have to live in a house that's trap adjacent. Yep. And unfortunately, it's where the people go to rob you. However, it's super important for you to have realistic expectations. We want to thank you for being on the Investor Tribe podcast.
Thank you.
So we are so grateful that Lisa Warfield, broker in Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. And it is so amazing to have your insights. Will you join us again? And so,
I think so.
Yes, so we're going to bring you back for our regular Indiana updates, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Hampton, tell us where we can find the Investor Tribe podcast.
About anywhere you look on the socials, anywhere you can find podcasts, we're at INV Tribe. Also, INVtribe.com is the website. You'll check out our blogs. We have links to the podcast. We have the investor forums and library on there, and you can join for free. You can also do paid memberships to get some extra perks and bonuses, but we look forward to having you be part of the community. You can watch Milton and some off-market deals and special deals every Monday at noon, and these are Eastern Standard Times, and then the podcast launch every 9 a.m. on every Monday and Thursday of the week.
Sweet. And what's our website? Where can, where do they need to go?
INVtribe.com.
That is awesome. And I am Milton Ali.
I'm Coyiatheowner.
And I'm Hampton Scurlock. Skip the guesswork and join the tribe.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
The Investor Tribe podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. We are not attorneys, financial advisors, or licensed tax professionals. The opinions expressed by our hosts and guests are their own and should not be taken as legal, financial, or investment advice. All investments carry risk, including loss of principal. Always do your own due diligence, consult qualified professionals, and make informed decisions based on your unique situation. The Investor Tribe podcast is brought to you by the Investor Tribe, all rights reserved, featuring Hampton Scurlock and Milton Ali, executive producer Drew Cookenmaster, produced and distributed by Bespoke Marketing.